Good morning, everybody. I hope everybody's having a blessed day today. Word of advice for today, or a positive thought of the day, is try to be better today than you were yesterday. We always striving to do better and make a better life for ourselves. So again, try to be better today than you were yesterday. So topic of today, I know some of you guys were up late last night, like I was, watching the national championship game between um, Georgia and Alabama. It truly was a great game. I think both teams showed that they deserve to be there. It's the type of football game that we want to see. A nice scoring game with some defense in there as well. And so one of the bigger conversations of last night was about the last play of the game that essentially ended up winning Alabama the national championship and the right to call themselves the national championship, not national champions. So basically, what came down, or what transpired at the end of the game, was Georgia had just gotten a huge sack on Alabama's freshman quarterback there, and so the next play they came out and they hit Georgia for like a 40-yard bomb for a touchdown. And so basically, one of the questions, or one of the big topics of last night, was about the coverage that they were playing, and the DB and how the play was executed by Alabama. This is just my opinion, based on my experiences with the coverages and things like that. This is just my opinion. In my opinion, it was just a stupid play by the corner, and even more stupid play by the safety. So I'm sorry for you guys who are aware and kind of know about the coverages and things like that, but basically I'm just going to break that down for some people who may not know, or just open it up for topics of conversation if people have a difference of opinion, and you're more than welcome to kind of shoot back and kind of give your opinion as well. So basically it's second and 30, 40, whatever the case may be, at this point. Alabama came out in what's called, from the offensive point of view, a trips right set, with 3 receivers to one side, 1 receiver to the other side. Georgia's response to the coverage was a cover two, where you have 2 high safeties and you have 2 hard corners, what they like to call it. So basically what happened was, and I'll just tell you what the responsibility of the corner is: to be physical at the line of scrimmage. When you play cover 2, you're saying, all right, what we're trying to do in this defense is we're trying to be as physical as possible on the outside edges, and our corners are responsible for the flats. Now, after they get done jamming the wide receivers, our 2 safeties are responsible for deep half. So one safety has one half of the field, the other safety has the other half of the field. Now, the other key component who didn't matter in this situation, but I'm just gonna, for as we get further along in the explanation of why that's important. The other key component in that is the middle linebacker. Now, if anybody remembers a great middle linebacker that used to play for the Chicago Bears named Urlacher. Urlacher was an absolute beast at this, and the Bears played cover 2 all the time. Urlacher used to scream down the middle of the field and get picks, interceptions, used to knock tight ends out of people running down the seam, all that stuff all the time. He was a beast at it. So the middle linebacker's job is to sink down the middle of the field, after, he recognizes whether it's run or pass, or after he reads whether it's run or pass. So in this scenario, okay, you have a trips right from the offensive point of view. You have a trips right with a single receiver on the backhand side. Now, me playing corner and safety in the past, if I'm a corner, the first thing I'm going to do in that scenario is I'm going to look at my safety, and because we played together all season long, he's going to know when I look at him that I'm saying to you, bro, I'm about to be as physical as possible on this receiver. In fact, I'm going to keep this guy from getting off the line. And if he does get off the line, I'm going to push his butt into the hash marks, making it 10 times easier for you to get over the top. That's what he should be saying. And the safety should be saying to himself, I have no number 2 receiver on this side of the field, so therefore I'm with you. If you miss, I'm over the top of this guy, so you got nothing to worry about. You can be as physical as possible. That's the communication that should be happening between the 2 of these guys. The only if for that safety would be, on the snap of the ball, I'm going to check that number 3 receiver on the trip side. And I'm going to say, if he takes an outside release away from me, I'm no longer worried about him, because, again, that's not my zone. That's not my job. My job is to worry about this side of the field. Now, if he should happen to take an inside release and run a post, even though I know that I might have a linebacker screaming down the middle of the field, the chances of him getting up there because he has to run is not all that great. So therefore, I might stick a little bit more in the not in the middle of the field, but I might stick a little bit more towards the hash mark, in between the middle of the field and the hash mark, because I know that there's a potential guy that could be screaming down the middle of the field, running the post or something. But that's the only thing I'm really worried about in that particular scenario. But obviously, none of that happened in this situation. So on the snap of the ball, what you got instead is you got a corner who opens the gate and doesn't touch the wide receiver. Okay, if you heard when at the end of the game they asked the quarterback what he saw, and he read it perfectly. He saw it perfectly. He did his job. He said, "I looked the safety off and pushed him to the middle of the field, and immediately took a shot on the outside." And obviously there was nobody there, and it was from my point of view, it was an easy catch and throw in that situation. So basically, what it came down to is a corner not getting not being physical whatsoever. And I think it had a lot to do with him getting cooked earlier in the game, because I think that same receiver gave him the business a couple times earlier, and almost caught a touchdown on him previously. So he was a little nervous, a little scared, which kind of messed with his head a little bit, which that can happen throughout the course of the game when someone's kind of giving you the business throughout the course of the game. The safety was just selfish and stupid, and him not doing his job by moving to the middle of the field, because there's no reason for him to move to the middle of the field. So at the end of the day, and some people say, well, it was a perfectly thrown ball by the QB. But again, even if the quarterback throws a rope, because there would be a void, hypothetically the corner got a great jam on the wide receiver, pushed him inside, the wide receiver then gets back outside and up the field. There is a small void in between the corner and the safety, but even if you put the ball on a rope on a perfect dart to the wide receiver, a couple things should happen in that scenario. The safety should be picking that ball off, maybe if he's a great safety, if he got a great read, or he should be knocking that receiver out, period. If he catches the ball, it should never result in a touchdown. There's no reason for that play in that particular defense, in that situation, should ever result in a touchdown unless you just have two people doing the complete wrong thing whatsoever. And that's what happened in that situation. Quarterback looks the safety over. The safety then shades to the middle of the field. He then immediately turns, takes a shot down the sideline because the corner, thinking he has help over the top, the help is nowhere to be found, results in a touchdown. It's just that simple. I played that coverage probably thousands and thousands of times over, and does it happen sometimes? Yeah, it does happen sometimes. Whether it be the corner not getting a jam on the wide receiver, or whether it be the safety not getting his butt off the hash. I used to tell my safeties all the time, your first two steps should be towards the hash. You know what I mean? If you have two receivers, even better, because those first two steps towards the hash will put you in the middle of those two receivers. If you got one receiver, then there really is no reason for you to be stepping towards the middle of the field, right? You still should take your re-steps towards the hash, and you only got one receiver, so the worst thing he could do, he runs a post, he's running it right to you. He takes the outside release, get your butt over the top, because you already got a head start by taking your two re-steps. It's just that simple. So either these two guys were poorly coached, or they just had a mental lapse in the worst possible time they could have possibly had one in that scenario. So again, sorry for you guys who know about the coverages and things like that, and I'm just kind of being redundant. But again, for people who may not understand or may not have gotten a chance to see it, or may not even gotten a chance to watch the game, I just tried to shed a little light on kind of what that scenario looked like. So again, please like, subscribe to the page, whatever the case may be. I'm going to have some guest people. I just got my web domain, web page, my web name for my web page all taken care of the other day. I'm just waiting to talk to some people about getting that page, some web design. I got a couple people that may be doing some things for me in terms of designing that page and getting that page looking nice for you guys to go and visit. But again, like, subscribe, and again, if you have a different perspective or a different opinion than I do, it's welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, just like I said, give it to me uncut, give it to me raw, like whatever you want to say, whatever you want to add to the conversation, please add it. If you have any topics that you'd like to talk about, feel free to add those as well. Again, have a great day, and like I said before, try to be better today than you were yesterday.